Kevin J Johnston, the #1 name in the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. GST, payroll, all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared,
Kevin J Johnston here. Welcome to the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on freedomreport.ca. Tonight's episode is called CRA Letters. Oh, what a joke. And they are a joke. We're going to break them all down for you. This is episode 101. We started off as the Real Estate and Money Show, which wasn't all that popular with people because not everybody has $500K to buy real estate. Instead of giving real estate advice, which people did not want, we decided to go with tax because everybody wants tax advice. Nobody wants to pay tax. The problem is so many of you out there are still afraid to not pay tax. You're afraid to make money. We have to fix the way all of you think. And tonight, we're going to cover exactly how that is with CRA letters that the CRA loves to send out to people. I know the ATO in Australia does very similar things, but I want you to hear these letters and understand how I will defeat them all. And there's a lot to cover, so I'm going to dive right into it. This one here, this letter came in from a criminal, and we've covered this particular criminal before. All of you who are watching right now on all social media, just write down that phone number and put it in the chat room. The phone number is 431-373-0580. There's a nasty trick that the CRA plays on we the people. And that is if you have a corporation and you don't know me, you probably have set your corporation up incorrectly. If you're the director of a corporation, which you should never be, they will put any of the debt onto the director only. Yeah, and I know exactly how to solve that problem for each and every one of you out there. Nonetheless, this individual, sweet lady here, had some debt and didn't know how to deal with it. Saw my TikTok channel, got a hold of me, but got a hold of me about a month too late. I can still fix the problem, but this is a big headache for her. So what happened here is the CRA locked down $100,000 of her money because they could, right? They sent the letter off to the bank, and the bank decided to lock her account. Why? Because they say, well, you know, we don't want the headache and the hassle. The CRA does not do anything to the banks who don't cooperate. You know that, right? If you get a garnishment letter, if you're told by the CRA that you must garnish the wages of one of your staff, you can write a letter saying, go F yourself, and they can't do anything about it. Nothing. They're not cops. They're losers. That's all that they are. So what happened is this individual named Desiree Kelly. Could all of you go looking for her on LinkedIn right now, please? Would that be okay? Desiree Kelly, Desiree, Kelly, Kelly. Their office phone number is 431-373-0580. I want to see this individual's face. I haven't had time to look her up myself. All right. So Desiree Kelly freezes this client's bank account, and then Desiree Kelly sends a letter off saying that you have to take all the debt from your corporation and move it to you personally. And when you do that, we're going to unlock your bank account. Extortion, fraud, intimidation, uttering threats, personating a peace officer, probably obstruction of justice. There's a whole bunch of things wrong with that. So I'm going to read this letter to you, which we've covered before, but it's very important that all of you hear what is on this letter. Now you know what they do. They freeze your account, they put a letter in front of you, and they make you sign it to get your account back. It's crazy. Dear Sir and Madam, attachment, subject, liability of directors. Again, never be the director on a corporation. Be the owner, be the shareholder, be the CFO or CEO or CLO or LLO or PSO or PISS or whatever you want to call yourself. All that's fine, everybody. But being the director is not fine because the CRA will attack the director. It says this. All right, check this out. They actually write the letter for you. So it says, I am or have been the director of X Corp as of November 30th, 2025. This corporation owes the Canada Revenue Agency $687,323.68 for unremitted goods and services tax and for unremitted source deductions under the Income Tax Act of Manitoba and the Canada Pension Plan and Employment Insurance Act. So right off the hop, in this first paragraph, the Canada Revenue Agency has written that you are liable for this big debt. They do this. And you're going to sign it, aren't you? Well, not after you read all this hear what I've got to say about all this. Or at least you shouldn't. Under Section 323 of the Excise Tax Act and 227.1 of the Income Tax Act, the parallel provisions of the Income Tax Act of Manitoba, and Section 21.1, God, all this crap, of the Canada Pension Plan, and Section 83 of the Employment Insurance Act, directors of a corporation may be held jointly and severally or solidarily liable together with the corporation to pay this amount and any interest and penalties relating to it. Notice how they say may and not will. You notice that? You may be held accountable. That is how they frighten you into everything. We may charge you. We may pursue legal action. We may do this and we may do that. If someone says they may, the odds are good they probably won't. But you don't know that. Well, you do now, but you didn't before this show, did you? So let's move on to the next section here. Under Section 323 of the Excise Tax Act and 227 of the Income Tax Act, the Parallel Provisions Act, and so on, directors of a corporation may be jointly, severally, and solidarily liable together with the corporation to pay this amount in interest and any penalties relating to it, followed by the Canada Revenue Agency has agreed to release the requirements to pay issued to National Bank of Canada for the liability totaling $687,323.68. However, the Canada Revenue Agency will not release these requirements to pay until I sign this document. What the hell? So they steal your money and they're saying that they're going to give it back to you, but you've got to sign this document admitting to liability that is not yours. Let's just say, for example, you were assigned director of a corporation, but you never actually owned a piece of it. And your boss took advantage of your lack of knowledge on this subject. And your boss is the one that racked up all this debt, but he's pegging it to you. So the bank has committed a crime here. You cannot hold someone's funds and say, sign this letter and I'll give you back your funds. You should be calling 911 at that exact moment. Call 911. Call the police. You have someone who's trying to extort you. You should tell the cops this. Now, once in a while, you will find a cop who will take the statement. I actually did have an RCMP officer once who took my statement about Justin Trudeau and all the illegal things he was doing. Then she called me back saying she just couldn't do anything about it. And so, yeah, I know why. I know you'll get shot if you do. But thank you for taking my report. Once in a while, you'll get a cop who does this. Not often, but once in a while. Let's go back to this letter. And then they're making you in the next paragraph here state the following. I will not use or rely on the fact that the Canada Revenue Agency agreed to release the requirements to pay as an argument or grounds for defense in proceedings resulting from the applications of the provisions of Section 323 of the Excise Tax Act and Section 227.1 of the Income Tax Act and the parallel provisions of all the other crap I've already read. All right. You hear that? So we steal your money, but we're going to give it back if you sign this letter. And in this letter, you agree that just because we say that you owe a debt, you owe a debt. And then you are not going to sue us after we give you this money back, after we have extorted you, and you're not going to ever bring it up in a court of law. That is what they're saying. They're asking you here to deny yourself the right to sue someone or file criminal charges. Now, it's not going to hold up in court, but they're certainly giving it a shot. The Canada Revenue Agency advised me to get independent legal advice about this document before signing it. Then there is a checkbox. It says, I got advice or I did not get advice. And everyone says, I got advice because they want their money back so fast and they think the CRA are police and I just have to do this now, right? Well, it doesn't work that way. So it's signed, and the individual woman who came to me with this problem got her money back. And then, of course, they rug pull, because what they say is, here's your money back. You sign this document. And then 2 days later, she did not pull all of her money out of the bank. They locked the account a second time. You know what they said? Oh, you personally owe that much money. Right? Check that out. That is what they did. So I had to threaten this Desiree Kelly with legal action and criminal charges. Desiree Kelly, everyone, write this down. I want all of you to find this person on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Find her. Desiree, last name Kelly. Desiree Kelly. Her phone number is 431-373-0580, which I'm allowed to give you because that is her government office phone number, and no government phone number is protected by any court order. You simply cannot do so. Now, don't threaten her and don't burp in the phone, don't flush toilets, don't do that stuff. What you do instead is ask her questions about why she feels that she has the right to commit the crime of extortion. Ask her why she is stealing from good people so that the money can be given away to Ukraine. Another $2 billion is going out the door tomorrow, by the way, everybody. Why is it that we, the Canadian populace, are not fighting back? Well, hopefully all of you are going to start. So find this individual's name for me as soon as you can and record the conversations, because a lot of times these Canada Revenue Agency people, they actually think that they have the law on their side. They don't. So they start answering questions and behaving very belligerently, telling you, well, we're the CRA, we can do what we want. Well, CRA, for you idiots who are watching from the CRA, I'm Kevin J Johnston, and I will do what I want. And when I want to track you down at home, I will. And when I want to put a lien on your property, I will. And when I want to divulge to the entire world where you live and issue photographs of your home to the entire world, I will. The difference between you and I is I will do it legally. Now, here's how you legally dox somebody in Canada. You legally put together an affidavit and a lawsuit, put all the information about them in that lawsuit, file the lawsuit for $1, file it with the court, and now it's a public document and you can give it out to anyone you want. Them's the rules, everybody. I didn't write them. Yeah, absolutely. So for all you CRA people out there, I work within the Criminal Code of Canada. You don't. So I will do what I want as much as you think that you can do what you want. And remember this, CRA, I'm way outside of your jurisdiction. You're not cops. It's not like you have investigators coming to find me. And the best part about where I live right now, I'm allowed to own as many guns as I want. It's nice. So knock on my door. Let's see what happens. All right, everybody. That is the letter that you get. So if you ever get a CRA representative out there who sends this letter off to you, telling you that we've frozen your bank account, we'll give it back to you if you sign this letter, where you will move all of the liability, all the debt from your corporation to you personally, call the police. Call the police, everybody. That is extortion. That is fraud. That is intimidation. That's 5 years in prison, by the way, for intimidation. It's uttering threats. It's all of the above. All of you need to go to my TikTok channel, and you will see it's real Kevin J Johnston. That's right now the only one I have. I did a 22-part series. It's actually a playlist of all the 22 laws the CRA break every single day. And it is mind-blowing when you see what I've got to say about the whole thing. There are 22 crimes that they all commit every day. The CRA are not pious. They are not moral. They are all criminals. What they actually are doing is illegal. But you got to fight back, everybody. Now, this letter, it's going to take a little bit to get through this one. I'm sure some of you have seen this letter in the past. Hey, look at that. I got a cowboy hat out of the deal. Thank you very much. Get that blur going on here. There we go. Oh, I hate when that happens. The camera blurs. I got to put something in. You got to poke the camera to get it to not blur. Yeah, it's an old phone, folks. For the blur effect, this phone is 8 years old. Subsequently, this laptop is 8 years old. It still works like a charm, but the cameras tend to blur for some reason. Getting back to the next letter, everybody. They call this one a trust accounts examination. Look at all this crap on this letter. My God. So this letter got sent out to a client of mine just 2 weeks ago. And you're going to kind of laugh at the audacity of what the demands are in this letter to my client. It starts off with subject, trust accounts examination, payroll, GST, HST. For my American friends who are watching, in Canada, we have a goods and services tax, which is 5% on every single thing that is sold in the country, with the exception of some groceries and some medical work. Everything else, they put this 5% tax on. In the province of Ontario, where 14.5 million Canadians live and about 20 million foreigners who are undocumented, as they call them, illegal aliens, well, they will, they have the 13% tax. Right. So if you make $1 million, you have charged your clients in Ontario $130,000 in tax. But let's say you spend $2 million, you now have a loss of $1 million. You will get back $130,000 in the HST that you have spent, or the GST that you have spent in other provinces. Now, why is that important? It actually is about the only incentive that anybody has to continue to try to keep a corporation afloat and make money, because you get your GST back sometimes. You got to do the paperwork right, of course. So they want to have this company do something for them. Let's find out what that is. I'm going to read this verbatim, by the way. The Canada Revenue Agency will be examining your payroll, GST, HST books and records. Since we could not reach you by phone, please call me. Everyone mark this down. Everyone mark this down. 519-965-6233. The Income Tax Act, Canada Pension Plan, Employment Insurance Act, and Excise Tax Act state that you must keep books and records that an officer of the Canada Revenue Agency may examine. Well, let's talk about that one very quickly. You don't have to. You don't have to keep books and records. You do what you want with your time. You run your business your way. There's this legend. You have to keep your records for 7 years. I've seen this stupid crap said to people in, well, I guess we'll call it accountant school, which is really CRA school. This is anybody who's a trained accountant in Canada works for the CRA. Keep your records for 7 years in case someone wants to look at them. Who cares who wants to look at them? Yeah, you're not looking at my books much the same way you're not going to look at my anus unless you're my doctor or a really hot chick. That's just how it works, everyone. It is none of your business how many dimples there are in my sphincter, and it's none of your business what's in any of my documented paperwork, if at all I even have it. Do I? I'm not sure. If I did or didn't, you wouldn't know. And if I did, I'm not showing it to you. You don't have to keep any records. And if they say we want to see them, what do you want me to do about that? They burned in the fire. The dog ate them. My grandmother got angry with me and threw them in the pool. I don't know, my ex-wife doesn't like me very much. She lit them on fire and threw them in the pool, then fed them to the dog. It's all of the above. Right. So, reading on. By February 26th, this letter arrived like 2 weeks ago. By February 26th, please send us the following books and records electronically. They're not even driving over there? What a lazy shithead. Electronically for the period starting January 1 to the most of 2025 to the recent pay period. A whole year. They want to see a whole year worth. And they want my client to do it for free. All right. Here's what they want, everybody. Payroll journals and registers that show salaries, wages, taxable benefits, and commissions for each pay period and each employee, including deductions for income tax, Canada Pension Plan, contributions, and employment insurance premiums. How many hours would that? Let's say you've got 100 staff and they want you to do all of this for all 100. Who's paying for you to do this? It's not them. Next, they want summaries from the payroll journals showing the total income tax deductions, Canada pension plan contributions, and employment insurance premiums for each pay period. Include the total employee part, the total employer part, and the dates the employees were paid. Holy crap. If you don't have automatic software and you're doing this in a journal, on a pad of paper or something, how long would that take you to do? Again, who's paying you for this? That's only two. This letter goes on, and I'm going to go through it all. But I want you to pay attention to everything that they are asking for. And then we're going to ask the question at the end of it all of what benefit is this to you? Let's move on. They want to see all your year 2025 T4 slips and T4 summary. They also want to see all your T4A slips and T4 summary. Well, I run a payroll company, everybody, and I can tell you that for 800 staff, so far, we started in the third week of December, and we're still doing T4s and T4As and T5s. Right? And thank God I've got an incredible team to get this done. But it's a lot of work. And the only reason that we are doing it is because I have a contractual obligation for the companies that we provide payroll services for to make sure that their staff have T4s and T4As. That's it. Beyond that, I wouldn't do it. Also, it's my payroll company, and the CRA is going to get a notification from me as to how many people we have and who got paid what and so on, because that's, again, a contractual obligation I've got with private companies, not the CRA. And then they're probably within 3 weeks going to send me off this big bill for $8 million. We will cover what happens then, everybody. I'm smiling because I'm going to do a show on that. All right, back to the rest of it. They want a list of your subcontractors and self-employed individuals, their contact information, and copies of contracts and invoices. What would make anyone think that they have the right to see any of that? If I'm doing any contract work for any of you, I'm telling you right now, I'm making you sign an NDA. You will not divulge anything about me or what you've paid me for any service whatsoever to any branch of the government, period. You do that, there's going to be a financial penalty for it. How dare you assume that you have the right to hand over the contract that we have as a private company to another private company or a private deal that we made? Now, a silly deal. Hey, if my kid's hockey team beats your kid's hockey team, you'll cut my grass every single Sunday for the next 3 weeks. Who are you to know anything about that? I'm not going to call the CRA and say, hey, CRA, I'm getting free grass cutting services from a guy. And here's his name, and here's his son's name, and here's his address, and here's what he does for a living, and here's the car he drives, and here's the license plate, and here's the name of his dog. What would make you think I've got the right to do any of that? And it doesn't matter what you tell me in a court of law, I'm not going to divulge it even if I know it. So when you are an employer and you hire outside contractors, you better protect their identities. Because if they are a client of mine, I'm going to help them sue you. And I'm going to have a really good time doing it. You do not need to share any of that information with anyone, especially the CRA. Because what they will do is ask for even more paperwork, and then they're going to call your contractors and your suppliers and anybody else to try to find out more information about you, not to help you, but to hurt you. So every time you cooperate with them, you're hurting your suppliers and the trust between them, plus you're hurting yourself. Come on, folks, smarten up. Next, they want to see a list of all of the taxable benefits for all employees, shareholders, directors, and other persons. Right. So let's cover what I do for my staff. I've got great staff here, folks. And we have a very simple program that My corporation, if you work for me, your glasses are covered. Prescription glasses, one pair of sunglasses, one pair of regular glasses, and I'll do that every single year for you. I mean, if there's a budget to it, I'm not going to let you blow 10 grand on glasses. So you're not getting Oakley's. Screw that. You'll get the good stuff from the good shop right down the road. Dental, you tell me you broke a tooth, typing on your keyboard, working for me, no problem. We got that covered. We'll pay for it. That's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with paying for the broken tooth, especially if they foolishly sneezed and broke their tooth on my keyboard working for me. Sure, I'll cover that. No problem. And if you needed to get a knee brace, I'm sympathetic to bodily injuries. I think all of you, we've covered before on my show many times. I've had 33 broken bones, 11 major dislocations, including my jaw and right shoulder. My thumbs have both been dislocated. I've been in the hospital for a few times for crazy injuries, 2 car accidents, a bad crash, snowboarding. Yeah, there you go. And I never once had an employer who would give me the benefit of the doubt and keep my paycheck rolling while I'm recovering for a week. You know, like the snowboarding injury, sure, was my fault. I sucked at the time, and I was trying stuff I should not have been doing with that low skill level. But my right arm was literally hanging out of my socket. I couldn't move it. It took the hospital 2 days to get me booked in to put it back into place. And that hurts because they don't really give you any painkillers for it prior to shoving it in. And the crunch sound, oh my God, you can hear it. I still hear it today. No, the employer I had at the time just docked me for a week. I don't do that. The most important asset that I have as a business owner are my staff. I am most certainly not going to be divulging any secrets about any of you to anyone. The CRA wants to come in, some jerk that I don't know is going to ask me for proof that I bought you prescription glasses. First off, it's no one's business. I do not ask my staff to show me proof of their prescription. I see they wear glasses. There you go. Okay, I believe you that you bought glasses. And some jerk from the CRA is going to say, oh, you have someone here named John Smith. No, I don't. That's my first answer. No, I don't. And the second one, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my office. But let's just say, for argument's sake, I wasn't there and someone else was there, and I walk in late to the meeting, and they want to know about the prescription that you have. No, I'm going to tell them it's time for you to stand up and leave. And if you are not outside my building in 30 seconds, I actually do have the right to grab you, not beat the crap out of you, but grab you and escort you right out the door. If I tell you to leave and you don't leave, I can guide you out the door. I wouldn't be very nice about it. I mean, God, as much as I would love to just uppercut, hair, elbow, I'd love to. I can't. And I can't encourage that either, by the way. But I can grab you by the back of the neck. I can get my hand underneath your arm, and I can walk you out the door. And that's what all of you should be doing when the CRA is asking questions about any of your staff. Have some balls. Have some dignity. My God, the people who work for the CRA are just losers who work a cushy government job because they want a pension that you're paying for. So why are you helping them with their pension when you know damn well you're not getting one? Let's think that through. Next, they want more. All right, we're not done. They want more. So they want to see all your automobile leases and purchase agreements, including contracts, logbooks, and the current odometer readings. Why? I'm not doing that. You mean you want me to put down this nice hot cup of coffee? Yeah. And in Canada, put on my boots and my sweater and my jacket and my toque and my hat. And I take a clipboard with me and a pen and go look at the odometer on my company vehicles and write it down. What would that matter to you? What would it matter that the blue car has 140,000 kilometers on it? What exactly would that do to help the CRA agent? How does it make my life better? It doesn't. How does it make his life better? It actually doesn't. It's just him stealing from you, making you jump through hurdles because he believes that he can make you do it. And he knows you're probably going to fall for it. So, no, I'm not going to write down the odometer ever for anyone. The only exception to that is when it's time for me to change the registration or the ownership on the vehicle. in which case I have to provide that if I want a plate. That's all. That's kind of the contract. Here's the odometer reading. Give me a license plate. Thank you. Screw you. And I'm out the door. I'm not giving it to the CRA. I'm certainly not going to tell the CRA who I'm leasing from. I'm not telling the CRA what I drive, the color of the vehicle, the optional extras that it has, how many kilometers a day I'm driving, where I'm driving to. It's no one's business. Oh, and by the way, for those who are joining us a bit late here, all of this is something that this auditor wants my client to wrap up and send in by email to him. Yeah, my client is supposed to do all this work for free. Let's go back to this, shall we? They want a shareholder's loan journal. Whoa. Awful accountants, crappy accountants, dumb accountants will tell you that a shareholder's loan is a good idea if you want money. Why? Why would you do that? Because that means you're putting a shareholder's loan on your ledger. And now at some point, your accountant's going to say, you have to pay it back because we have to balance the books. Well, who cares if the books are balanced? It's arbitrary crap. It's paperwork I don't want to do. I want to make money. The paperwork that I do is for me and me alone. I need to know if I'm making money or losing money. But the CRA does not need to know anything about me making money or losing money. So I'm most certainly going to not be as detailed as they want. And I would never take a shareholder's loan. I'm just going to take the money out of the corporation. It's mine. I earned it. I'm taking it out. And let's just say I had a bad accountant. I'm not a very patient man. I'm really not. So he says, well, we have to do it this way. I don't like being told I have to do anything, especially if you're not armed and you have nothing to threaten me with. Why are you telling me I have to do something? I'm going to tell you that you have to F off. That's what I'm going to tell you. So the shareholder's loan is just something that comes off the books. And if you don't pay it back, they'll tax you on it. Just take the money out of your corporate account and do whatever you want with it. It's your corporation after all. You don't take out a shareholder's loan, you do a corporate withdrawal. So if you put $1 million into your corporation 10 years ago, and now you want that $1 million back, you simply withdraw it, and it goes on the ledger if you feel like doing that as a corporate withdrawal tax-free. That's right. Any and all investment that you put into your corporation, you can remove tax-free. But why tell them? Every time you tell someone something, it just leads to more questions. So shut up about it. All right. But the audacity of them asking to see this stuff. Let's get to the next question here. They also want to see the general ledger. Well, the general ledger, I can't really argue with that one too much. The general ledger is, hello, CRA. Here's how much we made. Here's how much we lost. You owe us money because we lost money. I mean, you are a fool if you ever tell the CRA you made a profit. There is absolutely no way, even if I made $40 million, that I would show a profit. Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. Forrest Gump. I can give you a prime example. What did that movie make? $800 million, but they lost money somehow. Now, I know how they did it. And I think it's absolutely brilliant that you can lose money after you've made $800 million on a movie. I could do a whole 10-hour show on how Robert Zemeckis pulled that off. But that's not the point of tonight's show. I'm just saying that is the same type of thing that I will be doing. You're never going to make money on paper. You'll make lots of money in reality, but never on paper. And it's all legal. And that is the absolute best part of what I do. Everything I do is legal. That's why after I took $400 million away from the CRA last year, they can't even call the cops on me. What are you going to charge me with? Being a great accountant? Yeah, good luck with that one. But we got to go to the second part of this letter here because he's not done asking for stuff. This guy wants bank statements and canceled checks. Again, no. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, I'm running a corporation and I've got a hooker and gambling problem. Do you think I want anyone knowing that I'm using my email money transfers to email money transfer to, I don't know, Shaniqua and Cassandra on Thursdays? Okay. That's no one's business. I certainly wouldn't be doing that. And let's just say, for example, I felt brave and I went to the casino and I dropped $100,000 on black on the roulette table and I lost. Right? You think I want anyone knowing that? No, that is no one's business. In fact, if I was to lose at roulette, I would write that off as a marketing expense. But if I have the bank statements that I'm showing the CRA, they're going to see that I use the company credit card or the Visa debit card at a casino. So no, you don't get to see my bank statements. It's none of your business which restaurants I dine in, where I buy gas, which movies I have seen. It's none of your business who I email money to. And if I'm emailing money to family members, that's none of your business. I don't want the CRA knowing who my family is. I don't want them knowing who my kids are or even who my cat is. None of these things are any of their business. You have the right to remain silent. Please exercise it. And moving on, we have them wanting electronic funds transfer statements. Well, I run an international company here, so we do a lot of EFTs, electronic fund transfers, a lot. And we receive a lot. Now, sometimes it's about 10 or 12 a day. And do you honestly think that I want to spend any of my time going through all my EFTs and then write down, I sent this one to John Smith Corporation in New York, and this one went to Bob Smith, his cousin in Los Angeles, and this one went to Muhammad Iqbal Lakwari, whatever, in Dubai when I bought a brand new Lamborghini? No, that is none of your business. And I'm not spending time on this. If I have sent out an EFT, it's been recorded in my own software. I'm not telling you what it's called. It's been recorded in my own software. So if I want to see a report on how much I have spent, I can go click, click, click. Look at it. It's on my screen. All right, there you go. Good. I made some money this week. That's how I look at it. I'm not going to go click, 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 and then print it out and put it on letterhead and staple it and send it over to my accountant for signature and then back to the lawyer for signature and then ship it off to the CRA and just pray to God they don't find something wrong. Nope. Not doing it. I am not telling you about any of my EFTs. I'm not telling you about email money transfers. I am not telling you anything about anything at all. And for those who are asking what my company is called, just type in my name, Kevin J Johnston with the T, JOHNSTON.com, and let me put you into zero tax for the rest of your lives. Going back to this ridiculous letter. They want, oh my God, this one's going to piss us all off, isn't it? They want detailed names, amounts, and addresses, a list of current accounts receivable, including the business's merchant number and accounts payable. God help you if you knew my merchant ID and you gave it to the CRA. I'm coming to talk to you face to face, and I'm bringing a lawsuit with me. Now, I value my financial privacy. I absolutely do not want anything to do with the Canadian government. It's none of their business where I live. And you know, something I have come across is the police don't really have very good updated files on people. They really don't. You know, the cops don't know where I live, or didn't at the time anyway, back in 2021 during that fake nonsense. They had my home address as a post office box because my driver's license had a post office box listed. They actually didn't know where I lived. They kept asking me, what's your home address? It's like it's a post office box something or other, Calgary. I'm not going to tell them where I live. My God, why would you tell anybody this stuff? Let's go through that one more time. This is asinine. The CRA wants you for free to give a detailed list of all your accounts receivable, the full name of the person that owes you money, the full amount that they owe you, their home address or their business address, and they want the business merchant. Thank you for the hat. They want the business merchant number. My God, and you're going to tell them, aren't you? Please don't do that. Don't destroy your business relationships over the CRA. It's not like they can do anything if you say no. And I'm going to record the call I have with this idiot, by the way. And we'll go through this letter with this idiot, and he's going to tell me that I have to do it. And I'm going to remind him that I don't have to do it. Prove to me I even have to have this conversation with you. Go on. You tell me which criminal code violation I am committing here by not cooperating with the CRA and handing over all this work. If I am a supplier of yours and you divulge any of that to the CRA, I'm not selling to you anymore. We're done. The relationship is officially over. And everyone should see it that way, by the way. And I mean absolutely everybody. By the way, what's wrong with this picture right here? 4.5 thousand? Come on. Come on, folks. Let's get the 10,000 likes. Double finger right now. Everyone, two fingers. Get it going. Get those hearts rolling. Same with you folks over here on Instagram. And if you're on all the other platforms, Rumble, right about there, you can go on the thumbs up. Believe me, everybody, it helps. Do not stop. Keep those hearts going. Yes, everyone, it does get blurry from time to time. I got to get a better phone. I am terribly sorry about that. So when you see me point at the camera like that, it refocuses my lovely face. I don't even know why this happens. All right. So everyone, going back to this letter, they want a list of all corporate assets. Oh my God, this guy doesn't want much. Huh? He doesn't want much at all. You're going to go ahead and tell everybody who works for the government, I own a record player and I own the entire compilation of Barry Manilow and Lawrence Welk. I have a CD player with all of Metallica's CDs. I have an autographed Mr. Spock dining plate that was bought in 1969. I have, how about this one? I've got a Babe Ruth autographed baseball sitting in my office. You're going to tell them all this stuff? I've got a 1972 Roadrunner. I've got a 1972 Barracuda. I've got a 1969 Chevy Chevelle. I have all these things. The corporation owns 14 houses. Let me give you those addresses right now and how much I paid for them. Let me tell you how much of a capital gain you could charge me if I sell them tomorrow. Yes, and I own 27 pairs of luxury lingerie, male lingerie. Yeah, I own all that. You're going to tell them this stuff? Or are you going to simply tell them no? We're not going to go ahead and do that. We don't need to do that. There's no law that says we have to divulge what our assets are. You never tell the government what your assets are. Even if it's a court order, you don't tell them. You appeal the court order and then move the assets into a different corporation's name so that when the appeal is done, you can say, oh, no, we ain't got nothing, man. We got nothing. Then this guy wants to see the most recent financial statements, the balance sheet and the income statement. All right. Very little to argue with that one. But the only time that I ever divulge that information to the CRA is at tax season. We do our tax return, we give them the balance sheet, and we say, have a good day. And that's it. I'm not going to argue with them on that one because that one there, if they owe me money on the HST refund or the income tax refund or some kind of a correction, then yes, I'm going to give them that because it gets my money back. But I'm not giving it to them because some loser at the CRA asks for it, especially not in writing. Not a chance. He wants the corporate. Oh my God, listen to this. Wow. I didn't see this before. He wants the most recent. Hold on. No. He wants the corporate documents. He wants the minute book, the director's registry, and the shareholders registry. Yeah. Why would you tell anyone that? You, when you're holding a private corporation, do not have to divulge to anybody who the shareholders are, who the silent partners are, who the investors are, where the money is, how much money you make. You don't have to show your minute books. That's not the CRA's business. You only need to show that to a prospective purchaser of your corporation. You don't give that stuff to the CRA. It's remarkable how many times I've seen people, I need to go. He wants to see everything. I don't know where any of it is. And you stress yourselves out and you cry like a bitch and you whine and you make your wife and husband miserable. You make your kids miserable. You crash your car because you're so stressed out that some jerk who doesn't even put his first name on the letter wants to see it. Do we just not know in Canada that we have the right to remain silent? It is a right. It's the law. By the way, everybody, we've only got a couple of spots left for tomorrow. So tomorrow, that is Wednesday, the 25th of February. We have a group consultation. It's just $250. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time, where I give a bit of a tax lecture, and then we do as many hours as it takes to get everybody in the room to ask their question. It is a great time. I thoroughly enjoy doing it. There's about 4 or 5 slots left that I can think of offhand. Head over to Kevin J Johnston, my domain name, kevinjjohnston.com, and grab yourself a group consultation from the consultation page on the website. It is 1/3 the price of a regular consultation, so I highly recommend it. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, February 28th, and it's always the last Wednesday of every month, everybody, except for December. Get over there, grab your ticket, join me tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You'll get the link from our guy, Jay, first thing in the morning tomorrow to come into the Zoom room where we will have a great time together. Back to this letter. They want to see completed HST and GST returns for 4 different periods. Okay, nothing to argue with there. That's not one I'm going to argue with, because if this corporation has lost money, which it has, then it's going to get money back from the HST office. So why would I not do that? That one benefits my client, so we do that. If it does not benefit my client, we decline that. We always cite the Privacy Act. We do not have to violate the privacy of our clients. We do not have to violate the privacy of our staff. We do not violate our own privacy. You're never going to know anything about my personal life. Do you notice how, everyone, I don't come on my show and brag? I just bought a Lamborghini. I don't do that. You notice how I don't come on the show and brag? I just scored 5 babes. I don't do that. Do any of you know my kids' names, my father's name, my mother's name, my grandparents' name? I don't divulge any of that. I keep my private life private. Very much unlike the generations out there today who can't wait to tell you everything about themselves, including their pronouns, I believe they call them. They want to tell you everything about their private lives. Keep your private life private. Otherwise, you're going to pay a very serious price. First off, people will use that information against you. And secondly, the CRA is going to use that information to take money from you. Do not divulge anything about your personal life. Keep that quiet. Do I have a girlfriend? Do I have a wife? Do I have a husband? You're never going to know. I'm not going to tell you. And if I did, let's just say I was going to get married, I'm certainly not going to say, hey, everyone, next week's show is canceled because I'm getting married. Why would I do that? Now what I'm doing is putting somebody else in danger. It's lunacy. I'm not telling you the names of any of my friends. I'm not telling you the names of the kids I hung around in high school. I'm not telling you what car I currently drive. None of your concern. All of that could be used against me to in some way harm me financially or otherwise. So respect yourself, respect your staff, respect your own time, respect the company that you've built. Don't just give this stuff away because some loser asks for it. Next, he wants to see sales journal that shows the date of transaction, invoice number, sales amount, and GST charged. Are you kidding me? If you have 10,000 invoices a year, this idiot wants you to show all 10,000? How would you email that to this guy? Do you know how much time that you'd have to hire an agency, a temp agency, get me 12 kids that can scan all these documents for me? You're paying for that. And the end result of that, everybody, is going to be you paying more tax. Because every time an auditor gets anything from you, they always find something wrong. Always. That's their job. Their job is to audit you and then lie to you about the results of the audit. The trick is to not have the audit take place in the first place. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. This paper audit, we're not going to do. And I'm telling the guy, we ain't doing it. Then they wanted to see your sales invoices for each transaction from May 1st of 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Again, what do you do if you have a warehouse and your warehouse purchases 77,000 objects a week and then sells between 60 and 77,000 a week? All right. Think about that. Do you really have time to dig up 77,000 invoices every week? Or was it better that you just shut up about what you have, make money, and be happy with the fact that you're making a profit on your business? And here's the deal. This auditor, would he have time to read all 77,000 weekly invoices? What are they going to do with this information? They're making you jump through hurdles. They're not going to read it, everybody. They're not going to look at any of it. They're just going to say, our records show, or we have discovered that you owe us money. Could you imagine if this audit were to actually take place? I'll bet you $50 that they come back with an answer in less than 6 weeks. And I would ask the question, well, hold on a second here. This particular corporation has more than 800 staff and does more than 1,000 transactions a week. I know that you're not going to look at all of this stuff. Even if we gave them everything they're looking for, they're not going to read it. They're just going to take a wild guess and lie to me, lie to my client, lie to my client's staff and say, you owe us money. It's all lies. That's all they do. Regrettably, the law allows cops and government officials to lie to you to extract information and money from you. It's sad, but true. Now, we can't lie to cops. That's called obstruction of justice, but we can lie to the CRA because they ain't cops. All right, they want to see the purchase journal that provides the date of transactions, purchase amount, and types of good purchased and or services received and HST or GST charged. Oh my God. Do you want to do all this? I hope you're all going to say no. In fact, tell me in the comments right now, would you actually do this? Now that you know that this whole thing is a joke, you're going to probably burn $10,000 to $15,000 looking all this stuff up to cost yourself more money. Would any of you actually do all of this work free of charge? Because some guy named A. Nandy says, oh, show us this. Hopefully you're not. We're seeing some no's here, thank God. But there are people out there that would say, yes, I'm going to outsmart the guy. And maybe I'm just going to comply. It's easier. I don't want conflict in my life. I just want to go home to my television set. And I hear that answer a lot. And I did have a grown man, God, it was like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, tell me that he didn't want to be rich. I just want to make enough money to get by and pay my bills. That is nothing to be proud of. That is not the type of inspiration that you should have, because that's not inspiration at all. If you're the kind of male who wants to just make enough money to pay your bills, what lesson are you teaching your kids? Hi, kids, be a loser. Make the bare minimum, put in the bare minimum effort, do nothing with your time. As soon as your bills are paid, drink beer, watch the hockey game. You got to aspire to be better than your previous self. You have to aspire to be richer than your previous self, smarter, faster, fitter, stronger than your previous self. You cannot sit there and ever convince me it's a good idea for you to live life by just making sure your bills are paid, because one audit like this will make sure that you never pay your bills again for at least 3 to 5 years. You'll get bank loans and take mortgages out to pay tax bills that you wouldn't have to pay if you just did not cooperate in the first place. Getting back to this letter here, they want to see purchase invoices for each transaction from May 1st to December 31st of 2025. And for the year 2023 up to today, for the year 2023 up to today, send a list of all employees recipients indicating their dental care, insurance, or dental service coverages, not eligible to access any dental care, blah, blah. They want to know absolutely everything. And then here on the third page, we finally get a chance to see who this individual is. This individual's name is A. Nandy. I called this person. He never answers the phone. They never do. He calls himself a trust accounts examination guess what? Specialist? Loser. He's a loser. It's title. My name is A. Nandy of the CRA. Loser. Phone number. Everybody write this down. Everyone, I want it in the chat room now, because you're all going to call this guy and ask him why he feels he has the right to extort Canadians. 5 1 9 9 6 5 6 2 3 3. Record the call. Don't threaten, don't make funny noises into the phone and whatnot. Like, seriously ask these questions. Become an armchair journalist for a bit and ask these CRA people why they feel they've got the right to do this. Remember this: if you're filling their voicemail and if 1,000 of us are calling them all the time, they don't have time to be stealing money from other people. And there we are. So we got one more letter to go through here. This one, I'm going to try my very best to make it as quick as I possibly can. This is not from the CRA. This is now from the city of Ottawa. Cities in Canada are pulling scams on home and property owners now, which of course we knew was coming, but here is the verifiable evidence. City of Ottawa, all right, they call it the vacant unit tax. They are telling you have to declare whether or not your house, your condo, your townhouse or whatnot is occupied or vacant. And if you don't answer, they'll just charge you a vacancy tax. Yeah, I swear to you, that's what they're going to do. So let me read this to you now quickly. The vacant unit tax is called the VUT, or the VUT tax. Is a declaration for there's a declaration form for the 2025 occupancy year now open, which is last year. Your annual occupancy status declaration for 123 3rd Street can now be submitted by visiting ottawa.ca/VUT or logging into your My Service Ottawa account at myservice.ottawa.ca. Declarations are required annually. These declarations support the city's accurate administration of the vacant unit tax, which encourages the return of vacant homes to the housing market. No, what they're saying here is if your home is vacant, they just want to be able to tax you one more time. They already get property tax and they already get all the other municipal fines they're going to put on you. But now they want to put another tax on top of a house because they're going to say it's not true what they say, but they're going to say that it's to the benefit of the city to have all residences occupied. Well, you've got the house, so the city will make tax dollars, property tax dollars off that house. And like my hometown, the city of Mississauga, they own their own hydro company, so they'll make money off of that. But how do they make money off the renter? The owner makes money off the renter. So for them to be concerned about a house being empty means nothing. Does it matter? Would any of you care? Actually, I've got 6 condos. 2 are empty right now. And 2 are empty because I have very dear friends coming down whom I care about deeply and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to stay for free for 5 or 6 days. Now, do any of you care? And what do any of you think the damage would be to the city and the province, the region, and the country of Panama if I chose not to rent out my properties? Can you think of any loss, any financial loss to the city? Can you think of any difficulty the city is going to have if I pay my property tax on time and choose not to rent out my condo? It's a lie. Think about that. It's completely arbitrary. Sorry for this blurring. It's really bad tonight. It's them telling you that you are going to pay another tax because you did not log on to this stupid website that we have and declare that your house is occupied. Let me just finish off this letter quickly. All right, so submitting your declaration is blah, blah, blah. And the end here, the declaration deadline, so you have to contact them on the website and say, my house is occupied. The deadline is March 19, 2026. Declarations submitted after this date will incur a late fee of $250. Just like that, 100,000 homes, $250. My God, millions of dollars of revenue off of a lie. It's all lies. If a declaration is not received, the property will be classified as vacant, and the vacant unit tax will be applied on the final tax bill in June 2026. All declarations are subject to audit. Providing false information may result in a fine of up to $10,000. You're going to do what? You're going to come in my house? You're going to walk inside my house and see if someone lives there? Even if I was still living in Canada, if a government employee walked into my house, I'd knife them. That's it. I am done with the audacity of people who do not have the right to do what they are doing. And I'm not kidding. I would instantly state that you are an intruder. I'm one of those guys that has knives all over the house. Yeah, you get what's coming to you. So this audit would take place how? You're going to trespass? You're going to break and enter? If the city of Ottawa or Vancouver or Toronto, where they're doing this now, contact you saying, is your house occupied? It certainly is. I got to go taking a dump. I got to go back to work. I got to go taking a dump at work. Thank you. Bye-bye. End the call. Just tell them what they need to hear to leave you alone. Even if it's not occupied. It's your house. You can leave it empty if you wish. I'll leave whatever I want empty, and I'll fill whatever I want, so long as, of course, I own it. And there we are. So those are the 3 letters, everyone, that a lot of you are getting right across the country. We now know that if you get an audit letter, you don't have to cooperate. Just get a hold of me. I'll get a hold of the auditor, and we'll cancel the audit. Yeah, you can cancel an audit. You can. And we'll tell the auditor, we will give you only what benefits us. Thank you for your time. Don't ever call me again. They calls again, call the cops. There we go, everyone. So we got through those letters. I hope that we're all a bit smarter for it. I will now take any and all questions. Let me check YouTube first. Ready. Can I get some tax advice? Yeah, Shamir, what do you want to know? You got to actually ask a question for me there. Let me head over to Rumble and have a look and see what people are asking me there. 1 second there. Okay, so Robert says, Robert says, Robert, all you got to do, just email admin@kevinjjohnston.com right now, please, and just put that in the subject line, and I'll take care of that for you tomorrow. I appreciate knowing that. Thank you. Hi, Kevin, signed up for personal and corporate tax services. Okay, so John Neb, same thing. Head over to admin at kevinjjohnston.com, please. And I'd like you to put that detail in your email. We will take care of that one tomorrow for you. The CRA, Devin says, the CRA is binding on Her Majesty. It involves the statutory trusts. CRA has the authority to audit internal taxes. Those are basically all you need to challenge in their coercion. Well, it does not matter that the CRA says they have the right to do something. Without a court order, nobody has the right to do anything. It is that simple. And that includes the Children's Aid Society, by the way, who say that we're going to remove your kids. They are a not-for-profit corporation with a tax number. That's all they are. And they're going to take your children? No, same thing. Same rules apply. Here's Mr. 14-inch Bowie knife. There you go. Hello, Mr. Knife. Meet stomach. You're not touching my kids, and I'm saddened by how many people do not think the way that I do. You've got to protect what's yours, man, because no one else is going to do it for you. Nobody. All right. Kevin, should we ask the bank to sign an NDA before opening up a numbered corporate account? Yes, and there's a way to actually get it signed without the bank signing it, but I can't tell you here. It's got to be a private conversation because my lawyer did tell me, and I listened to my lawyer, folks. He told me that I cannot divulge that one because it could be construed as something a little bit off. So dang it, it's got to be within a private conversation, unfortunately. But yes, there is an answer to that one. Kevin, would you be willing to produce a series or a guide on how you would start a business and configure the corporations, including bylaws and all steps involved? Yeah, actually, I would love to do that because I've got a feeling that I'd make a whole lot more money if that book was available. If I sold 100,000 copies of a book, for example, let's just say it's only $20. That's more money than I would get registering corporations in the first place. So yeah, I would love to put that together, but I'm going to have to deal with an expert on getting that set up. I just don't have the time to create a brand new program as such. and get that rocking for you. Mike Landry, question: can I hire you to do my personal taxes? Yes, actually you can. Let me put the link to that in the chat room for you. In fact, it's funny that you asked that. I just updated that page today. So for those of you in Rumble, there it is. And I'm just going to stick it on the screen here for you. For anybody else who would like to get personal taxes done, I'm going to put it up on the screen for everybody. And there it is. So it's kevinjjohnston.com/personal-tax. And that's where you can actually hit the sign up button, give us some information, and sign up for it. There you go, everyone. That should help you find it without a problem. All right, let's turn that off. All right. Am I a lawyer? Nope. I am not a licensed lawyer. I'm just better than lawyers. First off, I'm not licensed, which means I can do what I want in the way of fighting to win. I like to win. Lawyers like to follow rules. They're always terrified of stepping outside of the rules. And it's actually amusing for all of us. The various law societies across every province in the country are all making it very, very difficult for lawyers to actually do their job well. So I'm not licensed. I like to win. I don't follow their stupid rules. I get letters from time to time from the Law Society of Ontario saying, you're practicing law without a license and we'll sue you. And I'm saying, well, you're just a private company. Screw you. But I'm not practicing law. I always tell everybody, this is not legal advice. This is life advice. I'm allowed to give you life advice. Yeah, there we go. Exercise your right to remain silent. Brush your teeth 5 times a day. Tie your shoes before you go jogging. Exercise your right to remain silent. Don't cooperate with the government. Exercise your right to remain silent. Brush your teeth. Eat your meals. Don't eat sugar. Life advice. I can give you all of that, but I'm not a lawyer. No. I'm not a CPA either. I would never waste my time going to any of those universities in Canada to learn how to become an agent for the CRA. No. CPAs are cowards. They've got something wrong with their brains. They absolutely, folks, must abide by the CRA's rules, not because there's any law that says they must. It's because they're weak upstairs, because they're gutless. I gotta comply, man. Yeah, I just got it. I don't want to lose my license. The CRA has no capacity to pull your license. And I got to clarify license. There's no such thing as an accountant's license. The governing bodies for accounting in all 10 provinces in Canada are private corporations. You have a membership. The same idea as a gym membership. Or for those in my hometown of Mississauga, remember Sega City, when it came out, they called it Palladium. They had a membership. You could play video games on a membership. That's all it is. It's a private company. How could the CRA tell a private company to discontinue issuing memberships to select individuals? Period. It is not possible. Oh, guys, we got a troll back. Let's see what he says today. All right. Next couple of questions here. Back to Rumble. All right. Yeah, John, look in the chat room. It's admin@kevinjjohnston.com. Okay, go ahead and hit me there, please, if you don't mind. It's in the chat room right now for you. Excellent. Okay. All right, so I'm being asked here by a few people, how far back can we go and do taxes? Legally, 20 years, but the CRA is deliberately now not allowing anyone to go past 4 years. And when I say that, it just means that they're not actually reading the taxes that are submitted, because they're trying to keep every single penny they can possibly get. All right. Lindsay Clark, I'm trying to book the group consultation for tomorrow night at 8 p.m. There's only slots for the morning. That's not right. Okay, Lindsay, do me a favor. I'm going to do this for you. There's the email address. So if you have a look there, Lindsay, in YouTube, email there and just let us know that you want in. And I can get you to just do an email money transfer, and I'll send you the link manually myself. And those, if anybody wants to do an email money transfer as opposed to using a credit card, it's just the word payments at kevinjjohnston.com. There you go. I know some of you don't have credit cards, which I understand fully. So payments at kevinjjohnston.com, and that'll get you into the group consultation for tomorrow night. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the screen for everybody. It's only $250 and there's no tax. So for those who are curious about what I'm talking about, everyone, it is a group consultation tomorrow night, Wednesday, February the 25th. And it's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's in Zoom, where I give a bit of a speech about taxes, and then we take everyone's questions. So the show is private. It never gets publicized, and it stays running until everyone's got their question asked and then answered. So there's the email money transfer address if you want to go ahead and send that forward. But when you do that, please also make sure that I get your contact info. This is a bad habit some of you Canadians have out there, right? You guys will send email money transfers and then you don't tell us anything. I feel horrible when this happens, by the way, because we get email money transfers sometimes and there's no instruction. There's no name. There's no phone number. There's nothing. And sometimes what happens here is, depending on your bank will mask. It'll hide your actual email address. So sometimes we get 75 characters of gobbledygook at interact.ca. That's obviously not your email address. So I can't even communicate with you. The only thing that I can do is try my very best to keep my eye open for your email when you'll eventually and inevitably say that you paid me, but you got nothing for it. And that does happen from time to time. So you gotta make sure that you use the contact form on my website, please. If you're going to give money on the website, tell me who you are. I don't like taking money for nothing. I actually want to make sure you get what you're paying for. Deb, is there a way to talk on the phone? Well, there is a way to talk on the phone. Just grab yourself a consultation over on the website, and we'll get you booked in. You could actually book it yourself right there on Calendly. And next week, we're switching over to different software, which is a lot more efficient to use. Let me just check email now for questions. I know a lot of you have been emailing questions lately, which is great. And there it is again. Without fail, no, I am not married. All right, there you go. I'm not married. No, I am not married. Period. All right, next. Garnishments. Good question. All right, so the question I'm reading right here in email is, do we have to cooperate with a garnishment order from the CRA? Nope. No, you don't. The garnishment is what they call a requirement to pay letter. So the requirement to pay letter gets sent to you, the employer, saying, John Smith owes $75,000. Give us the money before you give it to him. Now, why would you want to steal from your staff member and give the money to someone else because they say that they want money? You're going to screw your staff. You make money because you have staff, and then you're going to screw them over? I've got a standard letter that I send into the CRA where I tell them that we will not in any way, shape, or form commit the crime of theft. We will not assist you in any way committing crime nor hurting our team. You are hereby banned from communicating with us, and go fuck yourself. The answer is no. And every time I tell the CRA to go F themselves, they do nothing. They do nothing. What they do is they consider me hostile and they stop the audit. They stop calling me. It is that simple, everyone. You all need to be vulgar, crass, and hostile when it comes to the CRA. Chapter 10 of the Auditor's Handbook says that in any interaction with the taxpayer, as soon as the interaction becomes hostile, they have to end the audit or they have to end the attempt to collect. True story. So everyone, here's hoping that you're going to be crass and vile and hostile towards the CRA when they're asking you to do anything for free, especially stealing money on behalf of them from your own staff members. I am never, not even with a court order, will you get me to steal money from my staff and give it to someone else. It is not going to happen ever. So let's cover a couple more things if we could. All right, your questions here. My name is Nobody. Companies, I believe, cooperate with the CRA in regards to collecting employees' wages to avoid an audit. Yeah, I know. They all think that you have to cooperate with an audit. It's true. You don't have to cooperate with an audit at all. Why would you cooperate with an audit? I'm not cooperating with an audit, not now and not ever. And I think you said you wanted to give me $100 for 5 minutes of my time. I like money. Go ahead and throw the cash over at the payments at kevinjjohnston.com. And well, tell you what, I'll do 10. How's that sound? And I'm feeling generous tonight. I've had a good day. We made a lot of headway today. And in fact, I went looking at office space today, and I found my new office right downtown. Beautiful view, huge office, completely furnished. And it's cheap. Would anybody, come on, hands up. Would anyone like to know what a furnished office, 1,700 square feet, costs right downtown Panama City? Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you it's $1,300, including electricity and including water. Doesn't include internet. Internet is $15 a month. You can have an office. Yes. Uh-oh. Gifting suspended and live visibility is restricted. This behavior is not in line with our policies. Gifting is suspended for 10 minutes. I'm going to appeal that. Oh, you know what? It doesn't like the fact that you lovely, lovely people. There we go. You lovely people have been liking this show the whole time. So it says that I cannot get a gift for 10 minutes because you lovely folks love this show too much. Look at all those hearts flying there. TikTok does weird things, especially right in the middle of a live, don't they? My God. Let's go back to the YouTube room here for a second. Where am I located? Panama City. There you go. No, I'm not in Mexico. For the guy who asked about that, I will be going to Mexico. There is a huge e-commerce seminar. It's taking place first week of December, so I'm not going to miss that. And I'm heading down. Actually, God, I'm doing the whole South American tour. I'm hitting every South American country with the exception of Venezuela for now, until this little tete-a-tete they're having with the Americans is over, in which case I'll be heading down there and looking to invest. It's going to be the next big place to invest. Okay. Oh, yeah. So my name is Nobody. Good name. Payments at kevinjjohnston.com. Go ahead. And the answer is a resounding yes. And if you don't mind, we'll take care of that phone call first thing in the morning tomorrow. Just make sure I get your phone number, please. Your name. Now, first name is fine. I'll take that. And your email address if you don't mind. All right. Software's on a bit of a delay, Tellers. So I do apologize for that. But believe me, when it's out, you're going to love it. Okay. All right. So John Neb 717. Yeah, please use the email address I've given you and let me know what's going on. All right. I'll take care of that. Thank you. CCR Automotive. Does inheritance tax have to be paid or is there something else to be done? Inheritance tax? I never heard of such a thing. Inheritance tax, everybody, there's no inheritance tax. It's just the CRA is going to put tax on your parents. They're going to try one last time to get some tax money out of the deceased, and they're going to hope that you don't know how to counter it, right? So it'll be income tax, and they're going to find some other little things your parents supposedly didn't pay the CRA, and so on. So that is why I've told you all before, when someone dies in your family, shut up. You report the death to the CRA 3 years later after you've cleared everything out of it. No, there's no inheritance tax. They're just taxing the deceased. That's all that they're doing. Yeah, if anybody's got something private for me, guys, email or use the contact form on my website. Don't air out your private information here in the chat room. The chat room is supposed to be for questions and for fun. Blinky, how much would it cost for me to have your company help me set up corporations, begin doing business? I want to ensure I do it properly. You're looking at $19.50 Canadian for the quick consultation, along with the actual registration of the corporation. It's $29.50 if you want me to write the corporate bylaws for you and explain them to you in detail. That's how that works. And you're started up, you get a full consultation out of the deal, and you will hopefully take a lot of notes. I will record the conversation and send you the transcript so you can go back through the transcript, and then I delete the video after the transcription is complete. Transcription is all yours. Okay, one second here. I got a good question just popped up. Speaking of investing, how to get rid of the stupid 50% inclusion capital gains tax. You make sure that I am your tax guy when it comes time to liquidate property. If you're going to sell crypto, you're going to sell property, doesn't matter what it is. Collector cars, because they are considered capital gains, gold, silver, houses, condominiums, townhouses, cottages, commercial property, farms, whatever it is. I'm your tax guy. I will transfer. I sell. This is what I do, guys. I have 600, actually less now, but it's about $590 million in capital losses that I'm legally allowed to transfer to you. So if any of you out there have a capital gain, I'll transfer the capital loss to you, which is legal now to do. Well, it's not. It's always been legal, but we're doing it in the United States. We're doing it in Canada, and we're doing it in Australia. There's a possibility, this much of a possibility, that we can do it in the Netherlands. So there you go. Capital losses, everybody. We have them. I want to get them transferred over. My name is nobody. Payments at kevinjjohnston.com. David, do people need to claim Amazon and eBay sales? Why would you do that? You can if you want, but there's no law that says you have to tell us what you're making on eBay or Craigslist or Amazon or any of them, sells.com. No, you do not have to share that information with the CRA. Why would you want to do that? You're working hard, make the money. The best way to make sure you're hiding it is put it all into a corporation, and then you are completely protected. No, I would never recommend that you share that information with anybody. Can the CRA freeze your account? What they do is they tell the bank to freeze it. It's the bank that does the freezing, not the CRA. CRA has no access to anyone's bank files at all, or any bank's bank accounts. But the banks always do what they're told all of the time. So it's the bank that'll freeze your money. But the solution is I reset your tax bills to zero and you get all that money back. Okay. I mainly invested in stocks and invested in trading for capital gains. Yeah, that's a big problem. A lot of capital gains are had in the investment game, but I have capital losses I can transfer to you. Here we are. Yeah, you're right. My name is nobody. The banks are in cahoots with the CRA. Over 90% of Canada's entire economy is propped up on money laundering. So yeah, of course, they're all going to stroke each other. That's how they do it. Can I recover capital gains that were paid out? Yes and no. We give it our best shot. It's about 75% hit rate that we actually get your capital gain back, but it's got to be within the last 4 years. Has to be within the last 4 years. Yes, Canada is donating another $2 billion, billion, not million, billion to the Ukraine. So let's just, all of you, stop paying tax. If I'm your tax guy, you're not paying tax anymore. Let's stop contributing to wars around the world. Canada is funding like 40 wars around the world right now. It's crazy. The Canadian government is paying for Biafrans to be slaughtered in Nigeria. Canada is paying for the wars taking place in Lesotho. Canada is paying for all the wars taking place right now in Bangladesh and Myanmar. Your money is going into death on a mass scale. Please stop paying tax. Let me be your tax guy, and we can save some lives. Every dollar I take away from the CRA is a life I save. I feel pretty good about that. Okay, hey, everybody who wants to get a hold of me, my website, do not DM me in social media because all the scammers do that. They all go through DMs. Don't do that. I do not message anyone saying, message me on Telegram or Signal. I'm not on Telegram and Signal. There's a Telegram channel that I've got with some backup videos. I never communicate through it. I don't even reply to comments on it. So, website, Kevin J, my name, Kevin J Johnston.com. Contact me there or go ahead and buy yourself a consultation on the website. It's live right now for you. Goretti, my sisters and I are on title for my mom's home. Do we have to claim the funds we get? Oh, hell no. If you're already on title and your mom dies, house is yours. That's it. Do not tell the CRA about mom's death for 3 years. Get the death certificate and go and secure all the money out of the bank. All of it. If the bank says you have to go to probate, contact me on my website. We send off the appropriate letter to the bank saying we're not going into probate because nobody's contesting it. That probate thing is only when you've got people in the family contesting the amount of money that you're getting in the will. And then the lawyers make money and everyone else loses. You do not have to put anything into probate. You don't have to hire a lawyer to do a damn thing. Death certificate, empty everything out. Thank you, Tugboat. I appreciate that. Transferring other capital loss, please elaborate. Well, it's a matter of I buy corporations that are struggling for a living. If someone has millions of dollars of debt, millions of dollars in capital losses, millions of dollars in payroll and GST debt, I take that corporation over. And then I'm not going to tell you the process because I invented it. I'm not going to give away what I invented. But through a series of corporate amalgamations, it all becomes capital loss. So all these losses that I'm taking over, they go into a pool of losses, and they're all capital. They're capital losses. I can transfer them to you. They're my capital losses, and I'll sell them if I want to. CRA cannot stop me from selling gains or losses. They can't stop me from selling my own back hair. If I want to shave my back and sell that hair to you, they can't stop it, much like they cannot stop me selling capital losses. For the record, I have zero back hair. Just, thought I'd say so. As an executor, I love this one. That's a great question. So user 1283. As the executor, you become personally liable if the estate owes money. Here's what you do. As the executor, take the death certificate, empty every bank account out, transfer the properties, transfer the cars, transfer absolutely all of it, and then step down as executor. And then I'll write you a letter stating that you never were the executor in the first place. There you go. And the executor is now going to be John Smith. I don't know. Pick your favorite king. King Louis III, or the 17th, or the 16th, or the 12th. Pope Pius, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference who the executor is. You're going to step down. As soon as you've got all the money, you step down. Don't ever think for a second that you have to remain as executor. Someone says you're personally liable, call the police. Someone's harassing me saying I owe them money. That's how that works. Farhan, do you do taxes for physicians? I owe a shit ton of money. Farhan, I love doing that. All right. I am very familiar with how the medical system and the tax system works in Canada. I mean, so much so that I do taxes for everybody and I get all their money back. My clients pay zero tax, by the way. And I've got a medical company down here in Panama where I hook Canadians up with MRIs within a day. Yeah, I can get you an MRI and a CT scan in one day. I get people tattoo removal. That's a big one right now. I've had like 60 people come down here to get their tattoos removed. I had a family member, I won't say which one, who had 11 tattoos and they all faded, all of them. Spent too much time on the beach. There's no color left. I remember when he got this big skull on his shoulder blade, and the skull had this long spliff that went to the other shoulder blade, and the smoke was on the other shoulder blade coming up over the shoulder. I mean, it looked stupid. It did, but the skull was pretty cool. It was blue. It was red. It made it look like it was shining silver and gold. There's no color anymore. It's just black and faded. So, laser burns it right off. Getting back to your problem, my friend, I would love to make sure that your medical practice owes $0 and 0 cents. Got to get a hold of me on my website, please. If you want to pay 0 tax for the rest of your life, go to my website, kevinjjohnston.com. Could everybody please type it in the chat? Everyone, right now, please. I'd like to get that in there so people can see it. Thank you very much. Mike, is it true that bank accounts are frozen when someone dies? Well, if you're a dumbass and make a big public announcement about it and then people start going to probate, yes. But if there's no probate, no. No, not at all. Do I accept Bitcoin as payments? I prefer Bitcoin as payments. XRP, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC. I like that one. Chainlink, XLM. Take them all. No, I don't take them all. Sorry. I take the ones I've mentioned to you there. Chainlink, I'm definitely into. What else do we have here? What bank would I recommend after opening up a numbered corp in Ontario? We've had the most luck with Scotia and CIBC because they have payroll systems that are pretty good. And they've got credit card zappers you can get your hands on, which are pretty good. But you always want to have one federally chartered bank account and one provincially chartered bank account. You want to have both, everybody. Don't just have one, have both. An absolute must that you have both. All right, next question there. T asks, do I ever keep in touch with the other guys from the old KJJ show? Yeah, I talk to Ed and I talk to Stefanos. Once or twice a month we call and catch up. Stefanos is still hilarious. Still says the F word 25 times per sentence. Still smokes like a chimney. Ed still smokes like a chimney, but they both seem to have figured out what they're doing in life, which is absolutely fantastic. Good for them. The other gentleman, I do not speak to anymore. Yeah, Ferran, please get a hold of me, man. Let's make some money. Hello, Mike. Mike here in Panama. Good to see you. Tugboat says, my wife and I are coming down to meet you. Just you got to get a hold of Jay on the contact form on my website and let him know because he's got to book you in properly. I don't just randomly walk around the city looking for people. My time actually has to get booked. And I got to bring this up for everybody. If you are meeting me, you get the raw Kevin. I'm not going to sit there and be polite. Hi, how are you? I love your dress. My goodness, are those new shoes? No, we're going to have a frank conversation. You're probably not going to like me in person when you meet me because I am dead honest. I'm too old to play games, man. I'm going to be dead in 35 years, maybe less. I got a big mouth, maybe less. You think I've got time? Especially when you're paying me for an hour of my time sitting in a restaurant making all kinds of small talk and expecting me to be this perfectly behaved child from boarding school? It's not going to happen. I have upset people in conversations before. That's on you. All right. So I'm not going to deliberately upset you, but I am going to get right to the point. Because if you're paying me for my time, I'm getting to the point to solve your problem as quickly as I possibly can. Some folks say they don't like how fast I talk. They don't like how abrupt I am. They don't like how honest I am. All right. Well, what you see is what you get, guys. I'm like Don Cherry. I've met Don Cherry 3 separate times. He's the same in person as he is on camera. That's why I love the guy. He's completely legit. Completely. I'm the same way. So don't meet me in person if you think I'm going to bother you. I'm not going to deliberately do it, but I'm also not going to apologize. All right, next. Mike says, I'm awesome in person. Thank you, Mike. I certainly do appreciate that. What areas are good to live close to hospitals? Oh, my God, Superman. Panama City is almost finished a brand new hospital. Looks like it's about 25 floors, and directly behind it is a smaller hospital that opened up 6 months ago. And beside that is a large medical clinic that opened up about a year ago. There's clinics absolutely everywhere. And so Panama City is a great place for medicine. There's a lot of hospitals, 5 major ones, and all the smaller clinics that are pretty damn good. You can get a blood test in 5 minutes here and get the results within 1 hour. Yeah, I swear to you, that's exactly how it works. MRIs and CT scans, you get them booked in 5-10 minutes. You can actually walk in. Hello, I'd like a Big Mac, large fries, and an MRI, and you get it. That is how quickly it operates down here. Uh-oh, my battery power is kind of low. 1 second there, everybody. There we go. Battery's back in the charging mode. Woo. So, yeah, that's what I can do for you. Okay, Peter. The quantum financial system. That's a whole show, dude. It really is a whole show. One of the issues with it is that everybody who's trying to sell the quantum financial service doesn't understand it. So there's different stories every single time that I'm talking to somebody who is part of it. So I've widely steered clear of it because there are no clear answers. Crypto, I steered clear of it until about 2020. I should have gotten into it earlier. But with crypto, it didn't become mainstream until I'd say about 2 years ago. However, when I finally found people that could explain it to me properly and I understood it and my questions got answered, I jumped right into crypto, and I mean right into it. So as for the quantum financial system, no one has been able to answer any of my questions. And you all know that I'm a former journalist. I ask a lot of questions, and I ask all the right questions. And when my questions don't get answered, as a journalist, I'll just keep asking the person until they run away, which they always did. But if I'm asking questions when it comes to anybody wanting money from me, you better answer them, because I'm just going to turn around and walk away. You're not getting my dough. I cannot open HST again after a legal warning. If anybody out there has dead parents, you can use their social insurance numbers to get yourself an HST number. Just saying. Because, their ghost did it. And I'm your witness. I saw it for myself. I still have 50 accounts for you for my appreciation. Okay, well, Jay, we got to talk. We got to talk, man. Let's hook that up. Michael says, if you don't like it, pay your tax. No, thank you. I will not be paying any tax anytime soon, regardless of who's asking. Steve says, T5 interest income. Do we need to report it on our return? Never do a T5. Who's doing a T5 for you? That's dividend. Dividends are stupid. Don't do dividends. Do drops or corporate withdrawals. If someone's cutting T5 forms for you, they're an idiot, and they're going to hurt you, because T5s will get you taxed about 48% on your dividends. Don't ever take dividends out. Drops. Make me your tax guy, and I'll make sure that you don't pay any tax on that. Never do T5s. You will lose. Big time. Yes, there is stem cell therapy here in Panama. And yes, it's completely legal here in Panama. They don't even call it gray area here. The medical system here is wonderful. I think I told you about this. I mean, I get my blood tested now. I'm in my 50s. I get my blood tested every 3 months. I just want to make sure that my blood sugar is good. And yeah, I get that stupid test done. Thank God for the prostate exam, that they don't stab your prostate anymore. Remember, they used to actually stab your prostate. You don't need to stab a man's prostate to find out if his prostate's got problems. That is ridiculous. But I'm not going to tell you how the prostate exam works, because it's gross. And I don't think any of you would like to see that nor have it described in depth to you. But I get it all checked down here. It's wonderful. I can walk in. Hi, how you doing? Blood test, prostate exam. Thank you. All right. And you pay for it. The last blood test I had done was $84, and they checked for 152 markers, and the prostate exam was $60. $60. It's wonderful. Yeah. And the only reason I do stuff like that is because I'm in my 50s, and if something's wrong, I got to address it right away. Yes, I am no longer 18. And like I said earlier in the show, I've had 33 broken bones and dislocations beyond reproach. I've had surgeries to correct dislocations. I ripped my ACL. I got a new ACL. I'm partially blind in my left eye. I'm partially deaf in my left ear from all the concussions I've had. I need to take care of myself, right? But I could never do it in Canada. I could not do it in Canada. Here, let's talk about that for a second, all right? To get a blood test in Canada, my doctor, you have to go see your family doctor. So you got to scan your health card. Americans, they say it's free. It's not free, and it sucks, okay? So you scan your health card, and you sit down, and you read a magazine, or you play on your phone, or you go outside and get on the phone, and they call you, and then you get put into a doctor's office or a little room, and you got to sit on paper, and then you wait another hour, and then the doctor comes in, and he's in a rush. He's in a hurry. Doctor, I got this big red spot, and it hurts, right? Medication, writes you a prescription, and sends you on your way. So you actually have to tell your doctor, no, I want a blood test to find out what's wrong. So he'll write down, okay, you go to the blood clinic and check for these 5 markers, not all 100 plus markers, check for 5 things. So fine, you got to get an appointment now. You got to call the blood clinic. You can't just show up. You got to call them. Hi, I'd like an appointment for 10 a.m. next Thursday. They'll say, well, it's 10 Thursdays from now. So you go and you're getting sicker as time goes on. Then when you go for your 10 a.m. appointment, you still got to wait because there's 30 other people that also had 10 a.m. They dectuple book. It's crazy. So while you're sitting there waiting for it, eventually after 2 or 3 hours, you get your blood test. And then 3 weeks later, they phone you with the results. Right. So it's insane. No, man, I want to know right now what's wrong right now. You get that in Panama. You don't get any of that in Canada. So if you're looking to, if you're an American and you think Canada's free healthcare system is great, I'm telling you, as a Canadian, it sucks. It's awful. It's brutal. The doctors are all leaving because they can't make money. The system is broken. And there's a lot of individuals who are doctors. They say they're doctors. They come from third world countries. They lie. And the Canadian government says, oh, look, he's not white. Let's make him a doctor. So you've got blood technicians who are not blood technicians, surgeons who have no training in surgery in Canadian hospitals right now. If you have the means, get out before they kill you. Okay, Vasilis. I'm very interested in your package, but get in my shoes. How do you know it's real? Well, I've been a public figure since 2016. I've got 7,000 videos out there. You'd be hard pressed to find a Canadian who doesn't know who I am. You'd also be hard pressed to find any outstanding warrants for me for fraud. What I do is I've studied tax for 40 plus years. I clear everything with my criminal lawyer before I do a damn thing. Everything I do is within the bounds of the law. There are many people out there that have benefited from my work. I mean, I come live every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. and I proudly post everything that I say on my Rumble channel and YouTube and Bright Eon and my website and TikTok and so on. So you can verify anything. I mean, I exist, for God's sakes. How many AI guys are there out there that are saying, hello, I can do your taxes for you. Give me money now. I tell all of you, don't give me money until you actually have cut a consultation with me and you speak to me face to face. And I insist that all of you, when you're talking to me, ask me to verify that I'm real. Ask me to hold up my mouse. Ask me to put on my funky glasses that blink. AI can't do this. AI can't pick its own nose. AI cannot take a sip of water. AI cannot point a finger directly to a camera. AI can't do backflips. It's not doing any of that for you. So you want to make sure you are talking to me. And as for being concerned if I'm legit or not, what would make you think somebody in the Yellow Pages is more legit than myself? I mean, what would make you think that the other accountant that you find online is more legit than myself? What would make you think that the flyer that you see in a mall somewhere is any more legit than what I'm telling you now. Sometimes in life you win and sometimes in life you lose. And I've lost and I've won. But I most certainly am absolutely prepared to give my time and my money to someone who is consistent with their content and consistently states, here's how you reach me. And then when I use their method to reach them and I reach them, they got to be legit. It's especially if I can talk to them on the phone. That's just how that works, guys. Chev guy. Okay, God, that question, man. How do you get out of paying taxes? The easy answer is you got to make sure I'm your tax guy. You just have to understand the fact that there's no law that says you have to give the CRA money. Start with that right there. If you understand that concept, then you can allow me to do my job properly and absolutely kill your tax debt forever. Oh, Michael, absolutely. If people don't like me, if people do not like my abrasive attitude towards information, if people do not like the fact that I do not like the government, that I don't like left-wing politics, if people do not like the fact that I despise those who harm the innocent, they can get their taxes done by someone else. If people want to sit with me and be offended by what I'm saying, they're absolutely welcome to stand up and walk away. But I won't be their tax guy. As adults, we have to understand this premise. Nobody gives a flying you-know-what if you're offended by someone. I do not give a shit if somebody's offended by what I'm saying or what I'm doing or how I'm dressed or my haircut. You'd be amazed how many people on threads.com don't like my haircut. Yeah, apparently this makes me gay. I don't know what that means, but I think that they do, and good for them. I don't care. That's their opinion. Opinions vary. If we're going to sit down and have a meal together and I offend you, oops, it's not the goal, but I'm not going to make any apologies for it. And nor should we, nor should I, and nor should anyone else. And here's the other thing, nor should you be offended. I get told all the time on crazy social media platforms that white people are inferior. Whatever, man, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. I'm not going to get my back up about it. I'm just going to go block and carry on with my day. As adults, we do not have the luxury of being offended and announcing to the world, I'm offended. You look weak when you do so. You cannot allow the words of another human being to affect you emotionally in any way. I'm in business to make money. I'm not in business to make friends. I'm not in business to find lovers. I don't care about any of that stuff. I love making money so that I can meet my own personal goals and aspirations, which means I'm gonna bother some people. Some of you are going to bother people when you're making money. Some people will not like your advertising campaign. Some people won't like your logo. Some people won't like you. It's just how things are, guys. It's certainly not worth getting your back up over. That's all I'm saying, everyone. So for those people who email me telling me that they find what I'm saying offensive, too bad. I don't care. Oh, here's something. Dr. William Mackis is pushing QFS from Alberta. Yeah, I know Dr. Mackis. I interviewed him a number of times during the pandemic nonsense. I still have his number on my phone here. I probably should give him a call and find out what he's got to say about it. Smart guy, by the way. I have an Airbnb and they tell me they report income directly to the CRA. How do I avoid tax? By making sure the Airbnb is owned by a corporation. It's a corporate account, then it doesn't matter at all. Do I work in Quebec? On some things, yes. Yes, I do some things in Quebec. Not everything, because Quebec operates in civic law where the rest of Canada operates in common law. So Quebec's a bit screwed up that way, but there are some things I can help you with. All right. Am I coming back to Canada? Oh, why? It's cold, it's miserable, it's dark, it's a lonely place. People are angry all the time. There's no jobs, there's no money. I don't like the negativity of Canada. Canada used to be a jolly place. Everyone's really negative and down on their luck and depressed and whatnot. I don't want to be around that because it does affect you. It truly does. It sounds like I'm speaking Russian. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I do not speak a word of Russian. except for niet. And I even think I got that one wrong. Tugboat says, wife had a blood test, cost $562. That's pretty high for a blood test. Was that in the States? Thank you, Jay. I appreciate what you're saying there. Thank you very much. Max, how much is the consultation? If you want to jump into a group consultation tomorrow, that's February 25th, it's $250. The normal ones are $695 for half hour and $1,500 for 1 hour. But the 1 hour ones are now only Saturday and Sunday mornings. We don't do the 1 hour ones during the week because the half hour ones get bought up really quick. So hope that helps. What do I charge for corporate taxes? Depends on how bad you mess them up. It could be as low as $2,500 per tax year. We're absolutely cheaper than CPAs. It could be as high as $10,000. It's rarely more than $3,000 per tax year, just saying. But we had to do, oh my God, there's some really convoluted books out there. We've done one invoice at $10,000 for one tax year. And it's only because the guy's taxes were way off base. All right. Do I prefer dogs or cats? That's not taxes, guys. That's not money. Come on. Stay focused. Joseph says, I'm being audited for online platform activity. Should I comply or ignore it? No, you don't ignore it. We canceled the audit. So there's a legal letter that I've got available. I think it's $950 on my website, but it gets rid of the auditor. And we ban the auditor for life from ever communicating with you again or coming to your office or your property. So that's how we deal with it. Always attack your problems head on. Don't hide from your problems. Everyone makes the mistake of thinking it's going to go away if I ignore it. They'll just keep trying, and eventually they'll just assess you whatever amount they want. We have to cancel the audit, which is absolutely legal to do. Okay, so Eva says, I said it right. Niet means no in Russian. Da means yes. I just learned something. That's fantastic. That's all. That's it. I don't know any other Russian words, except all the last names. You know, remember hockey in like the 1970s? As kids, we'd laugh like "lick me off" passes to "suck me off," "suck me off," "oh my God." Remember those? Everyone's got OV at the end of their last names. I always thought that was amusing, but at the same time, the Cold War is over. I don't hate Russian hockey players anymore. It was fun to hate Russian hockey players in the 70s. Now, I don't know. I think the KHL is better than the NHL, if you want the truth. So there we go, Eva. Teach me some Russian so I can understand what they're saying during the commentary. Logan, if the Airbnb is in my primary residence, would I need two separate numbered corporations? Yes. Yes, you would. One to own the house, one to do business. Yes. Who's got cheap flights from Panama to YYZ? Copa, C-O-P-A, Copa Airlines. They're run by the mob, which is why that they are the best airline in Latin America. Any business in Latin America that's run by the mob runs well. God, if you want to get things done, do business with the mob. That's the way you do it. The governments are useless. People that work for government are not businessmen. They're not. They don't know anything about it, period. Whereas the mob, they know how to run a business. I do business with Copa Airlines. So does everybody else for that matter. It's not like I'm in some kind of special boat and I've never met them. I have no deals with them. I'm just telling you that the mafia runs the electrical grid here, the water grid, and Copa Airlines. So fly Copa. They got better coffee too. Okay. Here, good question, Max. What's the most important reason to consult with me? What do I do different? I've studied tax law since I was 13. I'm 54 now. I hate the CRA more than any human being alive. I hate the Canadian government more than any Canadian who's ever lived. I always win. The CRA is terrified of me because I file criminal charges against their loser staff. And sometimes we put liens on their properties when they get on my nerves. I know every single solitary tax rule. There's no tax law in Canada. I know the rules, and I'm afraid of nothing. I do not believe for an instant the CRA is even legitimate. I crush them every single chance I get. That's why I'm different. I like to win. I hate to lose, and I take everything personally because the CRA has done a lot to harm a lot of people, and I despise bullies. Wow, folks, those 2 hours just flew past. Unreal. Another 2 hours came, another 2 hours went. Do not forget the group consultation tomorrow. We've got 2 spots left. That's it. 2 spots left. $250 for Wednesday, February 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. There we go. Max, yes, I'm going to buy that debt from you. Get a hold of me on my website, kevinjjohnston.com. Please. All right, everyone. That's it. My name is Kevin J Johnston. This is the Tax and Money Show. Do not forget that I am buying Instagram and TikTok channels. Get a hold of me on my website at kevinjjohnston.com to sell me those social media platforms, and join me every single Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's it for now, folks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having fun. Thank you for the questions. I'll see you in a week. I love you all, and good night.